The Democrats lost. Why? Because they did not listen to people and instead looked down on them, and then they blamed each other and the minorities for the loss. What did you expect?
Election night in America, one of the most consequential elections in recent history.
Donald Trump has won the presidential election in Kentucky.
Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. Missouri will go to Donald Trump.
It's clear now that Donald Trump has picked up key support among Hispanic voters, despite all the things that he said.
Donald Trump will win the state of North.
Yep, Latinos did vote for Trump. But currently, the Latinos who are citizens right now, they want more Latino. It's just, you know, immigrants pulling the ladder back. Immigrants pulling the ladder up behind them.
North Carolina.
That the state of Georgia will go to former President Donald Trump.
The evening was getting increasingly somber as people realized what this map is looking like.
CNN projects that Donald Trump will win the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Kamala Harris is not winning.
So you won't hear from the vice president tonight?
News Decision Desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th President of the United States.
Do you really think that the Democratic Party is fighting for you? The overwhelming answer is no.
Yep. Apparently they sold that guy out. They sold Bernie Sanders out. Maybe they should know who's Bernie Sanders is Biden. Maybe it would have been better if Bernie Sanders won the primaries. Who knows?
Well, well, well. What have we learned? Nothing, apparently. I regret to inform you, everything I predicted about the election in my last video came true, and more. Men did overwhelmingly turn out for Trump, especially young men. But I was wrong about one thing.
Yep.
Young men weren't the only ones who came out in droves for Trump. Nearly everyone did. The madman took everything, every swing state, Pennsylvania, Georgia, my home state, New York, was closer to flipping red than Florida was to flipping blue. Turns out Dick Cheney as Brad wasn't the best message to win over voters. Dems did so bad it really had me thinking, damn, did we steal that election? So what happened here? How did it go so wrong? Is it too late for the Democratic Party, or can they turn this around? Will the Democrats learn from this, or will they double down and get worse? In this video, I'm going to go through all the excuses and the copes the Democrats and the broader left are coming up with to avoid accountability.
Yep. It's just Democrats are in fight right now. Populists blaming the woke blaming the corporate, woke blaming the corporate, the woke, the corporations blame each other, you know, just everybody blaming each other.
Read some silly tweets, watch some silly news clips, and even give the Democratic Party some advice on how to win 2028. Don't worry, Republicans watching this. They won't listen. Maybe in 2050, under the barren Trump monarchy, someone might come to their senses, but not anytime soon. If you only watched or read most mainstream liberal news, it really seemed like Kamala had this in the bag, which is why you should try to get your news from a variety of different sources. Oh, that reminds me.
As an example, like, at least try talking to people, you know, go browse social media and see who's being favored in the street. Go out of your bubble, go out of your little echo chamber and see who will win. Or check the polls, I don't know.
Before we dive into this election dissection, let's give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, a sponsor I've been working with for over 4 years now, Ground News. Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers an easy and transparent way to read the news all across the political spectrum. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown that helps you understand the full story and makes sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features of Ground News is the blind spot feature, which shows you what news stories have been covered by one side of the political spectrum and ignored by the other. For example, here is a story about how Bernie Sanders is open to working with Trump on capping credit card interest, and there's 23 sources on it, and 89% are right-wing. No left-wing sources have covered the story. And this story about how 2 women have told the ethics panel that Matt Gaetz—
Yep. They tend to do that. They tend to just ignore things that doesn't suit them.
It's paid them for sex. 31 sources, 61% of them left-wing. You can even see who owns these political outlets. Ground News also makes it really easy and fun to compare headlines to see how ownership or political bias can affect the framing of a story. For example, this story about how a man was arrested after allegedly a stabbing spree in Manhattan that left 2 dead and 1 injured. This left-wing outlet says, man arrested after alleged stabbing spree in Manhattan that left 2 dead, 1 injured. This right-wing outlet says, 2 dead, 1 critically injured in Manhattan as knife-wielding maniac launches unprovoked stabbing spree. I have been using Ground News since 2021 and I am just obsessed with this app. It is a great and easy way to stay informed, plus it really helps me see how both sides frame the same story so differently. Best of all, for Black Friday I am offering 50% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all their amazing features. This is their biggest discount of the year, so go to ground.news/shoe, use the QR code here on the screen, or use the link in the video description down below and subscribe today for only $4.16 repeating per month. I personally think what they're doing is very important because it helps approach the news in a more balanced and transparent way, and I feel like we really need that nowadays. So thank you Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right? And now let's get back to this election dissection, shall we?
There's no point in saying good morning, because it certainly is not one.
From blaming the American people to blaming Joe Rogan, the Democrats and the media are having a hard time coping with their loss, and I don't blame them. It was
Honestly, Democrats just need to be more. I'm gonna be honest. They'll just need to be more edgy, and then you can win the election.
A pretty big loss. Embarrassing, quite frankly. Donald Trump overperformed in nearly every state, with basically every demographic, and the entire country seems to be shifting more red. Everyone was so sure dangerous, devious, dastardly Donald would never make his way back into the White House to steal democracy. And he did it. With democracy. Anyway, I got a lot of comments on my last video from new fags like, wait, you're left-wing and you hate the Democrats? Yeah man, that's a pretty common thing. If you were shocked that I'm left-wing,
left-wingers have a tendency to hate, like, left-wing parties of, like, left-wingers, like, as long as their party isn't fully successful, isn't fully catered, then they are going to hate their party. That's normal.
Maybe that's a sign you need to take a step back and evaluate some of the preconceived stereotypes you have of people. Not all of us are crazy blue-haired socialists, no. Some of us are crazy brown-haired socialists.
That's right. I am not a blue-haired socialist. I promise. I promise. I'm not a blue-haired socialist. I'm not a socialist. Just like this.
But for those of you who are new here, hello, I am Shoe on Head. If you ask the right wing, I am Stalin. If you ask the left wing, I am Hitler. Fiscally far left, culturally centrist, socially retarded. But if you really must put me in a box, it's not that hard to pin me down. I'm a populist. Think Huey Long if he was a 5'3" Italian
Populist. Just cater to people's demands. Just do what people want you to do.
New Yorker woman who still did her hair and makeup like it was 2008. Put a pin in that Huey Long name, by the way. He's gonna come up later. I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s. My political awakening was jibjab.com. The first time I voted for Obama. I was ready for that hope and change. Instead, we got the crushing of Occupy Wall Street and more drone strikes. And from there, it only got worse. I voted for Bernie in the primaries in 2016.
That's actually what leftists did. That's actually what young people did for 20 years, by the way. They voted anti-establishment. They voted left-wing for 20 years, and after realizing that left-wing is part of the establishment, they are not anti-establishment anything. So now, they are voting right-wing, far-right. Because they are the anti-establishment.
And I watched as the Democratic Party did everything in their power to destroy this man twice. So it is safe to say I am a little biased when it comes to the Democratic Party, but I don't think I've hated them more than I do right now. The truth is, my last video was way meaner and way harsher than the final product turned out to be. When I showed the video to my assistant, he basically had an intervention with me and he was like, listen, you need to soften this up a bit. It's a few days before the election. You went too hard. Well, the election is over. And I'm sorry, River, but I'm going hard. You idiots. You morons. You imbeciles. Kamala
Imbecile is the new R word.
Harris?
And I like
really? That's who you threw up there? The one who dropped out before Iowa? The one who got blown the f out by Tulsi Gabbard? Why didn't you hold a primary? Aren't you the f***ing saviors of democracy? Where the f was the democracy? Oh, big congratulations to Tim Walz on being the first white male DEI hire. It didn't f***ing work. The DNC...
The first male DEI hire. Look, the DEI hire is actually nice. So, it didn't work.
He completely neutered that guy, reduced him to this weird token white man. Hello, fellow men, I too play football. But hey, men weren't the only demographic you completely dropped the ball with. Trump made incredible gains with women, too. Oh, and all those never-Trumpers you tried to court, the people who like the old, respectable GOP.
The old, respectable GOP? You mean the GOP that invaded the fucking Iraq? Yeah, so respectable.
No, the old, respectable GOP that led us into a pointless war that cost us trillions of dollars and millions of lives. But we're at least nice on Twitter, that GOP. Yeah, they didn't come out and vote for your ass either. So you got Liz Cheney to tag along for what? For f***ing what? You raised $1 billion and ended up 20 million in debt? Where the hell did all that money go? Maybe you should have blown it all on some...
By the way, it was nice when Trump offered to pay Kamala Harris's debt. At least help pay it. The things Republicans did in the first days of the election actually quite nice. You know. They were trying to depolarize the country. They were trying to give hope to Democrats. They were telling them that, you know, everything's gonna get better. Don't worry. Don't be afraid. The things aren't as bad as they told you. Don't be afraid. That's what they were saying. And that was a nice thing to do. Now we'll see where things go.
Celebrity appearances that did nothing. Or maybe it was spending 6 figures on a single-use set for the Call Her Daddy podcast that didn't even hit 1 million views. I want to see a full audit of this campaign, because I wouldn't be surprised if this...
Wish I was that YouTuber who gets $6 a podcast can come up. That will be amazing.
All like a big money laundering scheme, because honestly that makes more sense than this being a legitimate presidential campaign. Then they had the audacity to beg their supporters for money after she lost. How about you? How about every DNC consultant should have this map sewn onto the inside of their eyelids? May they never have a peaceful wink of sleep for the rest of their miserable lives. So that is how I feel about the whole situation. But what do Democrats and the media think? What do they think the Harris campaign did wrong? Why do they think Kamala lost?
I think Harris ran a really good campaign. If there's one person I do not blame for this loss, it is Vice President Harris.
Well, didn't she had more money than Donald Trump? Like, Donald Trump literally only had 1 billionaire backing him, and it was Elon Musk. Kamala Harris had the most money. She should have won. She should have won that. Apparently, money isn't the only thing that makes you win the American elections.
This is gonna be a long fucking video. The media this morning saying Dems need to have a reckoning. No, we don't. We can't be blamed because we expected Americans to be who they always claim they are. Democrats don't have a messaging
Always refuse responsibility.
problem. America has a racism problem. Kamala ran a flawless campaign in 100 days, and I refuse to let y'all gaslight me into believing anything other than that. She lost because she's a woman, and a black one at that.
I mean, this really was an historic, flawlessly run campaign.
Listen, I'm no political analyst, but...
Okay, just think of it like this. You run a flawless campaign. You ran the best campaign of all time, and you still lost. That just means a lot, you know. That just shows how much your people hate you now. That just shows how useless, how much of a failure you are. That's literally what it shows.
Losing seems like a pretty big flaw. Truly, don't overthink it. It's because she's a woman, she's a black woman. Don't overthink it. In fact, don't think about it at all.
And Kamala Harris lived up to our dreams. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Don't think about it. Just be she.
She ran a remarkable 107-day emergency campaign full of joy and hope.
Kamala Harris was the perfect candidate, and she ran a beautiful campaign of joy, empathy, and unity. Joy and empathy and unity doesn't motivate people to go to the polls. No wonder Republicans had incredible turnout and so many Democrats stayed home. This isn't Steven's universe. You just can't, like, joy and empathy and unity your way out of not being able to afford food for your family. CNN has a story titled, "Where the Harris Campaign Went Wrong." Nope, I won't read it. Harris ran a great campaign. The story should be titled, "Where the
The campaign went wrong when Biden won the fucking primaries. They should have not let him win.
American people went wrong. La la la, I can't hear you. La 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 la, I can't hear you. It's not me, it's you. La 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 la. The cope is unreal here. They don't even want to listen to criticism. They really think they did absolutely nothing wrong. They only see this as a Trump win and not a Democrat failure. Kamala Harris was not a flawed candidate.
Trump won. The Democrats didn't fail. Yes. They had a flawless campaign and they still failed. It means all the blame lies on them. It means they are more to blame than you think they are. It means they are worse, you know? No. You don't go around blaming your people. Blame your candidate, blame your party. You are the only one who's responsible.
America is a flawed country. This incredible tweet here is from Shannon Watts, who is on the board of Emerge America, which is an organization that, quote, shows Democratic women how to run for office. Yeah, we're never getting a female president.
Joe Biden's been a phenomenal president.
You can get a female president. Donald Trump can identify as a female for a day and become the first woman and trans woman president of USA. Isn't that amazing?
And he's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala Harris the president of the United States. Whoa. He would absolve her.
Wow. What the f is this make-a-wish president shit? Like she's a little kid who—
How is that not offensive to women anyways? Women can only become the presidents of USA by getting handouts. Okay, go for yourself.
wants to play pretend. Oh, just let her for a few days. What? Please tell me we're not gonna get the first female president out of pity. Well done, America. You failed them both. The people cannot let politicians down. That's not how this works. As a politician, you are not owed anyone's vote. You have to earn it.
The politicians let people down. Exactly. Nobody owes you shit. Like as a content creator, people don't owe you views. People don't owe you shit. As a politician, people don't owe you votes. People don't owe you support. People don't owe you shit. You go get that shit. You go get that support.
And evidently, she didn't earn it. We already went through this in 2016. Donald Trump beat both female candidates. Donald iron sealing Trump.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny the way Donald Trump beat? Like the only time Donald Trump won, it was against female candidates. And the moment he has to run against another man, he just loses.
It's not our fault the female candidates you're putting up are dog shit. Give us some good female candidates and maybe people will vote for them. At this rate, the first female president is going to be a Republican. Mark my words, it's bound to happen. And if it doesn't happen, this was a joke. One of the groups that showed up overwhelmingly for Trump was Latinos. One of the major stories—
Oh, the first female president of USA is going to be a Latina. A Republican Latina. That will be super fun.
Of the results is the significant surge in support for Trump among Latino voters.
I mean, dude, immigrants, especially immigrants, don't really like immigration, because when there's more immigration, when the immigration goes up, the racism increases. The racism that the settled immigrants get shit for. Like, there are people illegally crossing the border, and for some reason, a Latino who became a citizen is getting shit for it. That's why Latinos would rather vote the anti-immigration candidate. And they are not even against immigration, they are just anti-illegal immigration. Oh, what has the world I've came to?
Trump nearly erased the Democratic advantage in this group, narrowing the gap from 33 points to just 8. Democrats gonna build the wall 50 times higher after that one. We have to have a very—
Oh, they will. Did you not see how racist Democrats got after Latinos did not vote for them? That's mostly politics, by the way. The moment Latinos, blacks, or other minority groups start voting Republican, then the Republicans will start tolerating them, even helping them, even embracing them. But now the Democrats will be racist against them, because why not? They are not our people, they don't support us, they don't vote us. Why should we not be racist? Let us be racist for once. That's how they are gonna be. That's how they are gonna be thinking and acting.
Very uncomfortable conversation about Latino voters in this country. Me watching him deport the Latinos and the Arab Americans after they voted for him. And Cinco de Mayo.
To all you Latinos that voted for Trump, I hope he mass deports you and your entire family. Whether you were here legally or not, you gotta go.
I know for a fact that...
Anyways, we're gonna see a lot of shit with these Latino immigrants. Like, these deportations are gonna be like, you know, very trendy.
Most Latinos for Trump have undocumented family members. So if you know of a Latino who voted for Trump, I urge you to call this number and report said family members.
Donald Trump's
Apparently they pay you money for reporting people like that.
strongest soldiers. Spiteful liberals.
A district that's 97% Latino went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump.
No one can be as racist as a non-racist turned racist. That's just a fact.
Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the border. The border crisis is on their doorstep.
But yeah, that's true. She's screaming misogyny, misogyny. Dude, like, there is a bunch of Latinos living in USA right next to the border voting for Trump, and you are going around with they voted for him because misogyny. No, dude. Bunch of illegal immigrants are passing through their town every single day. Do you have any slight idea how much of a risk that brings for that town? A lot.
So and they were begging people to.
And these people aren't even listening. Just look at these four people. Like this chick in the red outfit, she's just talking, okay? She's telling them the truth. She's telling them facts. And these four are just, you know, no. They voted Trump because misogyny, racism, blah, blah, blah. Get the fuck out of here. Just shut up. Just shut up. Just listen for once. Listen for once. Shut up and listen. Stop living in your own fucking echo chamber.
Care about it.
Open your mind a little and listen.
For years, we need to take some lessons.
That's what that was.
Another demographic for people that overwhelmingly showed up to vote against Kamala were Muslims. In a Michigan-specific poll of 5...
Well, yeah, Muslims. I mean, they already didn't like anything Democrats were doing. They didn't like the LGBT rights, women's rights. They only voted for them for the sake of Gaza. And since Democrats, well, did not help Gaza, Muslims don't have any reason to vote for them anymore. I mean, they already didn't like the gay shit the Democrats were promoting, and now they can just straight off vote for Republicans. And they would have voted for Republicans if Republicans weren't anti-Muslim too. I mean, Republicans don't defend my rights, they are against my existence, but they are against the existence of gays and women as well, so I might as well vote for them. It's not like I cared about women or gays to begin with. So I might as well take away their rights as well.
102 registered Muslim voters. Stein got 59% support, followed by Trump at 22%, and Harris with a tiny 14% of the vote. The results show significant backlash to the Biden administration's handling of Israel's brutal war in Gaza, which has killed at least 43,508 Palestinians, including more than 16,765 children, as well as how the Harris campaign chose to tackle the issue. So how exactly did they tackle that issue? Why, sending that old pervert freak Bill Clinton up to Michigan to talk down to Muslims about Palestine.
I understand.
Who the hell is this guy? Isn't he like one of the ex-presidents? Did he do something to Muslims or something? I don't really know Bill Clinton's relationship with Muslims, honestly. I don't really know American Muslims' relationship with their, you know, with their representatives or like with American politicians. I know that Muslims outside USA despise USA. I mean, it's a fact. It's not hard to see. After Americans invaded Iraq and Afghanistan, most Muslims don't really have a positive opinion on Americans. But I don't really know the relationship between Arab Americans and, well, American elite. I don't know anything about that. It would be very nice if someone informed me in the chat.
And what?
Or in the comment section.
Young Palestinian and Arab Americans in Michigan are thinking.
It's amazing how Democrats became the party of the boomers.
Too many people have died. I get that. But
Muslims really said, we hate you more than the guy that talked about a Muslim ban. Just a side note, look at this fucking guy. It's like he hasn't had his daily dose of adrenochrome in a week. Someone get this man a fresh child stat. Muslims, Latinos, who else are we gonna blame? Ah yes, women. Yes, Trump improved with young men, but he drew in young women too.
Wow, look at that. 52% of all women who look like me are f***ing stupid.
By the way, majority of white women still vote for Republicans and conservatives. It's just that they are less likely to vote for conservatives than white men. It's just the statistics.
Despite making abortion the #1 issue in her campaign, despite Brat Summer, despite the White Women for Harris Zoom calls, and most of all, despite the Taylor Swift endorsement, Harris only managed to get +8 with women. Despite it all, many women came out to support Trump, especially Gen Z women. In 2020, 30% of young women voted for Trump. In
Gen Z, they used to vote left, and now they are voting far right. Specifically, not really far right, no, it's the alt-right, the old right, the paleo-conservative right, the isolationist right, the anti-globalist right, not the neo-conservative Emmanuel Macron kind of right, like not the neo-conservative, like not like the British Tories, not like the Republicans before Trump, not like the French Emmanuel Macron. It's the alt-right, the alternative right. Why? Because they are the new anti-establishment party. The left became the establishment, therefore they ain't bringing any change. They are not changing the system that I hate, so I'm going to vote for the alt-right, so it can change the system I hate. That's the logic behind it.
2024, 40% of young women voted for Trump. In fact, so many women voted for him that women on TikTok started wearing blue bracelets to signal to other women that they were one of the good ones who didn't vote for Trump.
Women crying online, women having these kind of faces online is such a common thing. Why do women do this? Why do women post things with a face like this? You know, why?
I'm buying as many blue beads and blue hearts as I can, and I'm gonna make bracelets.
Like posting things on the internet with a crying face. So why do you do that? Why? It looks so ugly. That's why Republicans make so much fun of white women and women in general, because you are like this. Stop being like this.
So we know who we can trust?
Yeah. Anyway, some young women in response to Trump's victory are starting to get into the 4B movement. A movement started in
South Korean 4B movement. I hope this movement starts so I can see some action. Not because I necessarily support it, I just want to see some action. It will be entertaining to watch. I don't live in USA. If something like this happens, it's just going to be fun to watch. I need that to happen.
South Korea. Basically MGTOW for women. Women giving up on dating men, having sex with men, having babies, marriage, whatever.
You will be the man, I promise.
We are taking coochie off the table indefinitely.
Cancel all future plans with men. 4B is where it's at. Use their own stupid traditional views against them. Say that you don't want sex before marriage. Say that you are waiting for the right man. They will be seething because they are sexually dependent on women who they call sluts.
So there's something going to be funny, you know. Like, you know, if a woman doesn't want to, you know, if a woman doesn't date men, if she ignores the men around her, she's gonna get shit. If she dates every man around her, she's gonna get shit. Like, regardless of the situation, they might end up getting shit. So anyways, it's gonna be fun to watch.
See, this is the best angle. No sex before marriage. Give them what they voted for. So conservatives won the election and women are threatening to not sleep around. It kind of seems like the conservatives won a little more than just the election. I might do a whole video on the 4B movement. Tell me if you're interested in that. I don't know. Anyway, young men did come out and support Trump, and apparently for the reasons I and many others predicted. We asked young men why they voted for Donald Trump. Here's what they said. Nick Sumners, a 21-year-old cosmetic car repairman from Virginia, says he is pro-choice, but when he voted in the 2024 presidential election, he did so for Donald Trump. Despite his personal beliefs, he says that Trump talks about the American people in a way that resonates with him, without, in his opinion,
like, stop shitting on people based on their gender and sexual orientation. It's like the thing you stand for, you know. You are the party that told people to not discriminate women and other races and gays based on their sexual orientation, and now you are doing the same against white straight men. Don't do that. Don't shit on them for that. Don't attack people for their race and gender and sexual orientation. It cannot be that hard.
or his gender and sexual orientation. I'm a straight white man, and I feel like we take the blame for a lot of things. Of course there are bad guys, he adds, insisting that he's not one of them just because he voted for Trump. But what appealed to him about Donald Trump was that his campaign was not coming after us. He was highlighting the American people, which we are. It doesn't matter what color you are, what you may identify as.
Yep. The way Donald Trump spoke to American people, he always said American people, you know, he didn't divide the people. He tried uniting people under the American banner. And it worked.
Since I wasn't excluded, I resonated with.
Yep. They did not got, like, Democrats, for some reason, exclude white people and white men too much. Like, it's pretty normal. It's pretty normal for you to lose elections if you do something like that.
When you tell a young white guy, hey, you're an oppressor, and because you're white, you have privileges that your black and Hispanic peers didn't have, and you're inherently at fault, or you're guilty for that, which is what a lot of the left wings or Democrats are saying. We're not racist, we're not misogynistic.
You are guilty for being white. We are not racist, we are not misogynistic, but you are still guilty for being a white straight man. Fuck off. Stop doing that. That's why you are losing votes. That's why people don't like you. Just stop judging people based on their race and skin color and, well, what else? Yeah, their sex.
We're just normal people, and we are friends with everyone. We're tired of hearing.
Yep, they are tired of hearing bullshit from
a lot of this
left.
BS from a lot on the far left. I feel like there's this cultural frustration that young men have that they're not allowed to be young men. I hope the male loneliness epidemic eats you MAGA scum alive. I hope you feel a hole in your soul and feel unloved until your dying day. I hope you rot in your deathbed wondering why women looked at you like you had rabies your whole life as your eyes closed for the last time. Unfortunately, the all men suck branding just isn't good for getting men to ally with you.
Oh no, it can't be! Is that the consequences of my own actions?
Yes.
True. Like, being anti-man, what did you expect after that? What did you expect being anti-man would bring to you? By being anti-man, you didn't even fully get the support of women. But, like, significant portion of women voted for Trump as well, and majority of men voted for Trump. Like, what did you expect for being anti-man?
The reasonable and rational men know you aren't talking about them, but maybe it's time to realize that most men aren't reasonable and rational. How do you speak to young men when they're literally Nazis? Why are Gen Z males the f***ing Hitler youth?
How do we get young men to get on board with the young men eat shit and die movement? Hear me out. Maybe not calling them Hitler youth? After the election, a YouTuber
I mean, sure, there are some problematic men. There are some of them. I see them on the internet. But not all men are like that. Like, majority of men voting Republicans are not like that. They aren't like that. Like, young men aren't the Hitler's youth. Only maybe a small minority would be like that. You cannot judge the entirety of young men because of the actions of a minority. You cannot do that.
I'm subscribed to uploaded a video called How the Right is Winning Young Men, and I was excited to see his take, but then it comes time to talk about men's issues.
I don't know, let men be a little bit of edgy maybe. Like, stop judging people for being edgy. It can't be that hard.
And this is how he did it.
But this is the part where I want to enter the male.
Yep, by being afraid of the leftists.
Loneliness epidemic. I know. We're all tired of hearing.
The entire idea of the male loneliness epidemic is it's this idea that really centers men and men's feelings.
Yeah, it's normal that it centers men and men's feelings. Like, not everything revolves around women's feelings, you know. Let there be things centered around men. Let there be things centered around men's feelings. What is so wrong with having things that center you and your feelings from time to time? What's so wrong with that?
The premise is quite a flawed premise to begin with.
I agree. I also, I have such mixed feelings about this.
To begin with. There's men and men's feelings. The premise is quite a flawed premise to begin with.
Yes. Just because it centers men and men's feelings, it's flawed. Get the fuck out of here. That's why people hate you.
I agree. I also, I have such mixed feelings about this. I do. Unpopular though it is on the left to, like, give grace to the male loneliness epidemic.
Then you left wing is for the people, and by being for the people, you cannot ignore men because they are people.
I have mixed feelings about it. I'm picking my words carefully so the leftists don't murder me. Like, don't rake me over the coals for this. But I think that I understand as much as I can understand a heterosexual man.
Yeah, I think we found the answer to the video title. Oh, I have to pick my words carefully so my own movement doesn't attack me for caring about men's issues.
Yep, that's the main problem of the left. The left just cannot accept criticism lately, you know, they just erupt, they start screeching the moment they see any type of criticism. I need to pick my words carefully so the left don't murder me. Like, they tried imposing this thing on right wing, it failed, now they are trying to impose this on their own supporters. And I hope it fails. Left wing needs some criticism to fix itself. If you shut yourself off from criticism, then you will fail. Criticism is necessary for improvement.
You see the issue? If you can't talk about this without having to walk on eggshells in fear of your own allies ripping your head off, maybe that is part of the reason men are moving right. Also, I feel like this is really important to say. I don't think all these men are moving right. I think just a lot of them hate the Democratic Party and...
Yep. A lot of men still agree with many issues with the Democrats and or the left. Many of them support gay marriage, many of them support abortion, women's rights. But they just don't like being judged for being a white, young, straight man. Jesus.
Feel alienated from the left. So what was the overwhelming takeaway from the Democrats and the left? To actually start listening to men? No, of course not. Instead, their solution...
No, don't listen to men instead of just blame each other.
Once again, seems to be... We need a liberal Joe Rogan. We need a liberal Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan. I thought he was already a liberal. What the hell?
We need a left-wing Rogan. Democrats are gonna keep losing until they have their own Joe Rogan, their own Elon Musk.
Elon Musk was a leftist. Like, half a decade ago, like 5 years ago, Elon Musk was the biggest fucking leftist. How do you guys not remember? He was the leftist cool billionaire who used to produce electric cars, who was the gamer and the weeb, you know, who was a fucking leftist billionaire until he decided to buy Twitter. And well, yeah, he was a leftist until his son became a trans woman. Yeah, Elon Musk was a leftist. He was a liberal. Joe Rogan, he was also a leftist, also a liberal. But Joe Rogan was too edgy apparently. And Elon Musk, well, he just changed his opinions as he got old. This guy's bets work, by the way. Like, whenever this guy invests in something, this Elon Musk guy, the investment pays off. He invested in Twitter for Donald Trump and Donald Trump got elected. God damn.
They create their own alternative to Fox News.
Fox News, dude, as far as I know, the entire legacy media, except Fox News maybe, serves Democrats. The Hollywood serves Democrats. Majority of social media, except Twitter and maybe 4chan, serves Democrats. You just, like, despite all that, you still lost, you know? Like, you control all these social media, and through all this media, you just went around and decided to shit on your own electors, your own voters. You shit on men, you shit on white people, and they vote you out. A shocker.
People saying Harris should have done Joe Rogan are missing the point. That wouldn't have helped her. Liberals need to build their own Joe Rogan. Oh my god, we need a liberal Joe Rogan. You had a liberal Joe Rogan. His name was Joe Rogan. Yep. He was too edgy, too problematic.
Too edgy. That's what I hate about the left, by the way. The left forgot how to be edgy. Like, the left wing used to be the group of people that used to offend everything, you know? Like, offend the right wing, offend the left wing. Like, offend the right wing, offend the conservatives. That was literally the whole thing of the left. Like what? If they hate gay people, show them proof that they are secretly gay, that they are closeted gays. You know? Like, left wing used to be more offensive than this. And now, for some reason, they are being the anti-offensive group. You can't be this much of a snowflake. Like, it doesn't work well, it doesn't bode well with the people. You need to be a little bit of edgy at least.
Too many no-no words talk to too many no-no people about no-no topics, and in 2020 when Bernie Sanders went on his podcast and Joe endorsed him, the Democrat journalist class freaked the f out and smeared him for weeks. The left can't have a Joe Rogan because everything that makes Joe Rogan is not allowed on the left. Kamala Harris ditched Joe Rogan podcast interview over progressive backlash fears. So Joe Rogan was too problematic, but Liz Cheney was fine? Listen, you don't need a leftist Joe Rogan or liberal Joe Rogan. You just need leftists and liberals to go on Joe Rogan. And that means not giving a shit about being canceled by your own movement.
Look, you can have an argument with Rogan, agree with him, disagree with him, but what's the problem going on those shows? I got vilified by some of the Democratic establishment because I went on Rogan's show. Now a lot of other people are doing.
Yep. You went on Rogan's show, got endorsed by him, and progressives attacked you for it. Incredible.
Just that.
Anyways, liberals should start doing podcasts and TikToks and whatever aimed at setting the youth straight. Ah yes, there's nothing the youth enjoy more than being set straight.
We don't have the equivalent of Joe Rogan and
Right.
Jordan Peterson to move that man in a feminist direction. By the way, we should educate men that it's actually really great to live with a strong woman who makes money. It's actually easier.
But what if they don't want that? What if they want a different life? Why are you telling them how they should live? They want to live the way they want to live.
It's easier.
We're gonna be under Republican rule for the next 100 years, aren't we? Trump's win leaves Democrats asking, where are our...
Yep, I get the feeling that, there's a chance that Republicans are going to rule the USA for the next 2 decades. But, Americans have change in their nature, like when something goes wrong, Americans have a tendency to take risky changes, they have a tendency to take risks. They have a tendency to attempt to bring change despite the risks. That's kind of in their nature, and it might work. It might
Bro
really work.
whispers. We have to make entertaining, engaging content that men
And
want.
that's practically what they're gonna do, The Americans are just gonna change the moment something stops working. Like, change in their nature. Taking risks is in their nature. Taking risks is in their nature. That's just who they are. That's just who they were in their entire 300 years of history, or maybe 400, I'm not sure.
To watch and care about. Then, over time, you pepper in more progressive views. So you want to start a normal podcast and then start sprinkling in propaganda? Should you even be saying this out loud? Dems need to seriously put all their money into creating propaganda networks.
Bro, you already have those networks. Hollywood, legacy media, majority of social media.
To compete with the right's massive amount of propaganda. Democrats need their own propaganda machine, and I'm not even joking a little bit. First of all, again, I don't think we need better propaganda is something you should be saying out loud. Second of all, Democrats already have that, and have had it for decades. It's called Hollywood. It's called every celebrity, every institution, every piece of media, from movies to video games. Every celebrity from Beyonce to Taylor Swift.
Why do you think gamers are screeching about games going woke? Why do you think that it happens? Because all these medias, all these companies just serve the Democrats and their interests. Almost everything that involves art in one way or another, it supports Democrats. It promotes them.
Swift endorsed her. She had Cardi B at all her rallies. She got the fucking Avengers together.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
Hey,
Scarlet.
The entire
Trump
Avengers.
is literally Thanos. By the way, with all these journalists,
Trump is literally Thanos. Half of the population needs to go. Get the pun?
and people talking about how we need a liberal Andrew Tate, a liberal Joe Rogan. Yeah, be prepared to see some of the most forced, overproduced, astroturfed streamers and YouTubers to pop up overnight and subtly or not so subtly start shilling for the Democratic Party. You're gonna start seeing funded DNC plants all over YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, because they really do think the answer to all of this is more podcasts. All the funding in the world.
Podcasts are important, by the way. Podcasts are important, but it's important what you are saying as well. Like, it's important what you are promoting as well. Like, it's like the thing you are saying, like how you say is not the only thing that matters. Yeah, the way you say things matter, but there is something matters more than that. It's what you say. Sometimes the question is not how you promote things, but what you promote.
won't buy you an audience. You could have $1 million set and the best sound and video equipment ever.
Yep, if you cannot cater to the population, if you cannot cater to people, if you cannot be a populist, then well, you can't have an audience.
But
if you cannot cater to an audience, you cannot have an audience. Being a YouTuber and being a politician isn't that different, you know. It's just catering to the audience. It's just doing what people telling you to do. It cannot be that hard.
Will not buy you a large and dedicated audience. I've been using a Mac laptop webcam and a shitty snowball mic for over 10 years, and you idiots keep coming back for some reason. And listen, it's 2024. You all have a camera and a microphone. Be the liberal Joe Rogan you want to see in the world. But the thing is, if people can hear your opinions when they turn on the TV, they're not gonna watch your shit. People tune into alt media to hear alt opinions. Even the most popular leftist streamers, like Hassan for example, spend a lot of time criticizing the Democratic Party. So it's gonna be hard to build some kind of like Democrat shill Joe Rogan. But I can't wait to see you try. After the election, one of the only politicians I've seen who is actively trying to understand why people voted the way that they did is AOC. When I met her, I whispered into her ear, "Take the pronouns out of your bio." And she did. My influence. Anyway, after the election, AOC found out that a ton of people voted for her down ballot, but also voted for Trump for president on the same ticket. Curious, she took to her Instagram to ask people why they did that. And these were some of their answers.
Okay, let's read these, okay?
She took to her Instagram to ask people why they did that. And these
answers are the, you know, the answers people gave them. Like this AOC, she's doing what I'm complaining about, you know. She's doing what she needs to do. She's literally doing the right thing, you know. She's listening to people. I am listening. Listen to people, cater to their demands. If people are complaining about a problem, it means there's a problem. Then listen to them. It's real simple. Trump, and you care for the working class. Like the working class, the group of people that voted for Trump dominantly. It can't be that hard to care for the working class. Wanting change, that's exactly what I said. The anti-establishment vote. The young anti-establishment vote that used to go for the Democrats, but now they are voting Republican because Republicans became the anti-establishment party. Caring for the working class, being real, wanting change, not trusting either party establishment politicians. This is what I'm talking about. Being anti-establishment. Action and progress, stagnation and excuses. Both of you push boundaries out of and force growth. I feel that you both are outsiders compared to the rest of DC and feel less establishment. Yes, the establishment that doesn't do shit for people. That's what they're talking about. That's why people voted Trump. They want change. They are anti-establishment, and well, the working class. And well, he cared for working class. Apparently, he catered to the demands of the working class.
Were some of their answers. I feel like Trump and you are both real. It's real simple. Trump and you care for the working class.
Exactly what I said.
But also you signified change. Trump signified change. I've said lately, Trump sounds more like you. Loved ones say you're both straightforward in challenging corruption and broken government. Because it's different than what has been the last 4 years. Something had to go. I feel that you both are outsiders compared to the rest of DC and less establishment. Voted Trump, but I like you and Bernie. I don't trust either party establishment politicians. The replies, of course, were full of people like, these idiots, these morons, these fools. Most depressing shit I've ever seen. These people sound dumb as hell. Such
Of course. People like, you know, a Democrat, finally someone decides to listen to people. But the moment she does that, all Democrats are all out of nowhere. They are stupid, they are ignorant. Oh no, stupid, ignorant. Shut the fuck up. Shut up and listen. You are doing the exact opposite what I told you to do. Shut up and listen to people.
Staggering ignorance and stupidity. The median voter. I hate the median voter. I want to destroy the median voter. Why is the median voter this stupid? I hate the median voter. How could this be?
They are not stupid. You are stupid. You are stupid enough to not cater to them and not understand them. You are the stupid one.
Be real. Americans.
You are projecting your stupidity. Americans are really the dumbest dudes on earth.
They really are the dumbest gentlemen on earth. This is giving me a headache. I don't understand the median voter. Listen, it's really not that hard to understand. It's populism, honey. It's why when I went to January 6th and told them
populism isn't that bad. Just listen to people and their demands. Sometimes people want the wrong thing. But most of the time, if they are complaining about something, they are right. They are complaining about something correct.
Bunch of boomers.
They are complaining about something that actually requires addressing. Listen to
that was a Bernie supporter. A ton of them reacted like this.
I think he's one of the few honest people yeah, I think he's honest. He beat Hillary Clinton, and he would have beat Joe Biden too.
People hate empty suits that sound like they're constantly reading from a script. They want someone who tells it like it is. Someone who fights for the everyman, or at least...
Yep, tell them how it is. That's why sometimes people vote for the group of people that offers them something bad, because they are being real and honest.
At least sounds like they do.
How are you feeling about Trump's upcoming...
Even if they don't actually care, at least they sound like they do.
Presidency, Trump too.
I voted for him.
Oh, you like AOC?
Yeah.
Did you vote for her?
Yeah. Remember one thing about why people voted for Trump. They want change.
The average American voter...
Yes. They want change. You know, Trump is the one who promises change. You know, you have these neocons who are just going to cut the taxes for the rich and not going to do anything else. And then you have Democrats who are going to increase the tax on the rich and ain't gonna do shit as well. But on the other hand, you have Trump, who is promising change. That's why all around the world the alt-right is rising, because they are promising change, just like the leftists used to do it a decade ago.
Voter despises the establishment and will vote for anyone who promises to destroy it. And the fact that none of you understand this is a big reason why you lost.
They hate establishment, and they will vote for anyone who promises to destroy it.
And will continue to lose until you do understand it. Capiche? The beatings will continue until the populism improves. How could people have voted for this felon? How could they vote for Trump, especially after January 6th?
Because you are stupid enough to not to understand people. You just don't have the brain to understand people. That's literally why. That's literally why they would vote for a felon, because you're a fucking idiot who cannot understand people.
Where he led a bunch of his supporters to destroy that beautiful shining beacon of hope. Well, first of all, you have to understand that that's not a shining beacon of hope to most people. That is a dirty, disgusting brothel that sold out the future of their children.
Dirty, disgusting brothel.
That will probably send them into the next world war. After all the indictments, the mugshots, the committees, the documentaries, people clearly don't care about January 6th. And that might scare some people, but the truth is, a politician that promises safety and affordable food can do 100 January 6s. It's kind of like FDR said.
Imagine causing people to raid the parliament of your country. Literally, you just tweeted out something. You just tweeted out one thing, and the people raided the parliament. They raided the White House. That's the kind of effect Donald Trump had on people. That's how much he's beloved by his own electorate, by his own voters.
Democracy has disappeared.
And that says a lot.
In several other great nations. Not because the people of those nations dislike democracy, but because they had grown tired of...
Insecurity. The people grown tired of unemployment and insecurity.
Unemployment and insecurity, of seeing their children hungry while they sat helpless in the face of government confusion and government weakness through lack of leadership. Finally, in desperation, they chose to sacrifice liberty in hope of getting something to eat.
Yep, that's exactly the problem. People will choose fascism if they get something to eat over liberty, instead of, like, people will rather not starve to death under fascism instead of starving to death in liberty. That's a fact. That's how fascism comes to power. That's what fascism is. It's fueled by fear and insecurities. And right now, the economic crisis that we had after COVID just fucked the world up so bad. The entire world is filled with insecurity and fear, and now the world is going for rolling towards fascism. It's rolling towards Nazism. because people are insecure, people are fearful. You are not supposed to shame those people for their fears and insecurities. There is nothing as natural as being insecure when your children are starving, when you are starving. You just need to fix the economy, you know? You just need to cater to those people's fears and insecurities. You need to give them a sense of safety. You need to give those people a sense of safety. Give them something to eat. Give them a job. Give them a livelihood. And they will stop moving towards right and fascism. It cannot be that hard. It cannot be that hard to fix the economy a little so that people will stop being this insecure. Jesus.
Speaking of FDR, let's talk a little bit about the guy that FDR stole a bunch of his ideas from, shall we? Someone who the modern Democratic Party should probably try and learn from. That's right, I finally found an excuse to talk about my favorite politician. The man, the myth, the legend, the kingfish himself, Huey Long. Huey Long was the 40th governor of Louisiana from 1928 to 1932. He was a populist member of the Democratic Party and rose to national prominence during the Great Depression. He took on big oil and Wall Street and drastically helped
help people, protect people against big corporations. That's practically how we fix the economy to a certain degree.
Lift Louisiana out of poverty. Long had many supporters and haters, and to this day is celebrated as a populist champion of the people, and at the same time, denounced as a fascist demagogue. To give you a better idea of who Huey was, here are some quotes from the man.
The moment you start catering to people, you become a fascist demagogue.
And himself. Corrupted by wealth and power, your government is like a restaurant with only one dish. They've got a set of Republican waiters on one side and a set of Democratic waiters on the other. But no matter which set of waiters brings you the dish, the legislative grub is all prepared in the same Wall Street kitchen.
Yep.
The only difference I ever found between the Democratic leadership
It's all run by money.
and the Republican leadership is that one of them is skinning you from the ankle up and the other from the ear down. But Huey Long wasn't some enlightened centrist, no. The man firmly had a side, and that side was the people. I'm for the poor man, all poor men, black and white. They all gotta have a chance. They gotta have a home, a job, a decent education for their children.
Yep, I'm surprised how Americans aren't doing this, by the way. You know, like, Americans have a history with racism and white supremacy. You have white people, you know, back in those days, they had a system that held black people down and upholded white people. And now they have DI, which upholds minorities and holds white people back. Like, why everything is divided by race? Why everything is about race? Why, like, instead of implementing DI that promotes minorities, just implement a DI that promotes poor people, regardless of their race? Why not create some sort of a camaraderie, some sort of a brotherhood between poor people, between poor men, regardless of their skin color and race? There is no way it's going to be that hard. Come on, like, there is no way it's a hard thing to, you know, cater to poor people, regardless of their race, without discriminating.
Every man a king, that's my slogan. When asked if he cared about the bad press he got, Huey replied, "All I care about is what the boys at the forks of the creek think of me." And when
bad press, no matter how much bad press you get, as long as you are doing something good, as long as you are doing something for the people will support you, they will stand behind you. Yes, the bad press is going to make you lose votes, but still, the people will see. People are not dumb, they are not ignorant, they can see what we are trying to do.
Big Oil threatened to leave Louisiana, he said, "If they gotta leave, they can go to hell and stay there." They don't make politicians like this anymore. Politicians used to be like mob bosses. Now they go on Call Her Daddy podcasts. Sad. Huey had many powerful enemies, and because of this, he was assassinated in 1935. His last words were allegedly, "God, don't let me die. I have so much to do." There's a lot of talk online right now about how we need a Joe Rogan for the left and Andrew Tate for the left, but there's also talk about how we need a Donald Trump for the left, and well, Huey Long was exactly that. And to be completely honest,
a populist. It can't be that hard to be a populist.
I don't think you people could handle a Donald Trump for the left. You couldn't even handle Bernie Sanders.
Yep. The left are going to get triggered. Like, a leftist Donald Trump, dude. The left, not the left, the Democrats will screech at them.
You called him a
It's been a while since the left had a charismatic leader, by the way.
sexist and a racist and did everything in your power to crush him and keep him down. But unlike Bernie, Huey Long wouldn't just lay down and take it. Huey Long would scare the shit out of the modern Democratic Party. But if there's anyone they need to take a lesson from, it's him. Alright, time to get out of this costume. I feel like an old hooer. It should come as no great surprise that the Democratic Party, which has abandoned working class people, would find that the working class had abandoned them. Bernie Sanders said in a statement about the results of Tuesday's election, "While the Democratic leadership defends the status quo, the American people are angry and want change, and they're right. Will the big money interests and well-paid consultants who control the Democratic Party learn any real lessons from this disastrous campaign? Will they understand the pain and political alienation that tens of millions of Americans are experiencing? Do they have any ideas as to how we can take on the increasingly powerful oligarchy which has so much economic power? Probably not. All the groups that Sanders originally courted, young people, Latinos, the working class, are gone. And I don't know if they're coming back. Maybe this is a one-time thing, maybe it's just because of Trump or inflation, or maybe the meme is coming true. Maybe Republicans are the new party of the working class. Democrats' working class exodus sets off reckoning within party. Democrats, who have long prided themselves as the party for the little guy, instead strengthened their emerging base of financially secure college graduates this election, while a growing number of blue-collar voters embraced
financially secure college graduates, like people who don't have any financial insecurity voted for Democrats, but people who are insecure voted Trump.
And Republicans. Especially alarming for Democrats this election, the exodus of working class voters from the Democratic Party included not just white voters, but helped Trump make gains with Latino and black men. This realignment crystallized a political reality that is tough for Democrats to swallow. With blue-collar voters flocking away from their party over multiple election cycles, Democrats' refashioned base is becoming more upper-class, urban, suburban, and coastal. It's a narrowed coalition that does not bode well for future elections. To put things into perspective, the Trump coalition is closer to the Obama coalition than the Harris one is. That is crazy. That is wild. That is what we call a potential party switch. And I don't really care about how many leftists or Democrats cope about this. We have better union policies, we have better wages policy. Yeah, that might be true, and I agree, but we don't get to decide who the party of the working class is. The working class does. And if exit polls are anything to go by, basic left-wing economic policy is still incredibly popular. People just hate the Democratic Party. White men without college degrees are going to ruin this country. First of all, white men without college degrees built this country, bitch. Second of all, this is apparently a real Democratic Party strategist saying this. You want to know how to win 2028? Step 1. Stop listening to freaks like this. The election, if having a degree was a requirement to vote. And this is what the election would look like if everyone was allowed to vote. Oh wait, that's this election. I too hate democracy.
And I think Bernie Sanders is wrong. I think the more relevant question actually is, what is wrong with America?
Democrats have a smug problem. The day after—
What is wrong with America? Maybe start catering to people, listening to people. It cannot be that hard.
After the election, an NBC News chart circulated on Instagram that highlighting exit poll data showing that the more education you had, the more likely you would vote for Vice President Kamala Harris over President-elect Donald Trump. Some liberals used the occasion to look down upon the icky dummies who were too stupid to know they shouldn't vote for Trump. Yet Trump's victory was both
looking down on people is a great way to lose their vote.
Definitive and diverse. He won broad swaths of the electorate, making significant gains in New York and California and winning over larger percentages of Latino voters and young voters than in 2020. He also won a majority of first-time voters. Large factions of the left condescendingly believe that dumb people are the reason Trump won in 2016 and won again in 2024. And that patronizing, visceral vibe is obvious. It's a massive turnoff to many other voters. It is a mountain smug Democrats have to overcome if they want to reconnect with voters. Once, the coastal liberal establishment had an air of open-mindedness. But now, these elites have evolved into the provincial, narrow-minded scolds they once—
Try humbling yourself before the left. Like literally, just— No. Don't try humbling yourself before the left. Try humbling yourself before the people. Try humbling yourself before the people, you know? It cannot be that hard. Humble yourself. Humble yourself before your voters. Do it. And then you might win elections.
Critiqued. All their education has narrowed their worldview. Their credentialism has built themselves a bubble in which to hide from reality. The contempt many liberals and some leftists have for the working class has never been more on display than it is right now. Even coming from some leftist YouTubers I watch that I know Their credentialism has built themselves a bubble in which to hide from reality. The contempt many liberals and some leftists have for the working class has never been more on display than it is.
Dude, you are a leftist and a liberal. You are supposed to be the one defending the working class.
Is right now. Even coming from some leftist YouTubers I watch that I know better and spend a lot of their time trying to bring people to the left. Your college degree does not make you any smarter than a working class person without a college degree. And more importantly, don't—
What makes you smart is life experience. It's living, you know. It's having experience. Someone with a college degree who never worked or who doesn't have life experience is going to be dumber than a factory worker who has life experience, who has experience living, raising a family, who has experience with people. They ain't the same.
talk down to a vast majority
The factory worker is going to be smarter
of the population, because despite how badly you want to believe it, they are not stupid. They are the people who grow your—
Yep, people ain't stupid. People ain't stupid. They ain't stupid. Hammer this to your head. They ain't stupid.
food, build your houses, pave your roads, fix the plumbing in your luxury apartments. And guess what? There are more of them than there are of you. So maybe you people should start listening to them instead of wagging your finger in their faces as if disagreeing with you is some moral failing, because it's not. These people aren't all racists and Nazis or whatever. They are normal people. They are the proletariat. They're who you should be fighting for. And they don't believe you are fighting for them. More importantly, there is a difference between being educated and being smart. IQ isn't just about how many books you read or how many words you know. A lot of it is about pattern recognition, and boy did I recognize some patterns here. Maybe you guys should have listened to the bimbo with populist brain rot, because she seemed to be right about a lot of this. If the Democratic Party wants to win another election, they need to start understanding the importance of populism. Drop the divisive identity politics and focus on the bread and butter issues, or you are doomed. Become the party of Huey Long again, or you are doomed. But you know what? Maybe you're not doomed. Because
they are going to be the party that keeps losing elections for 20 years straight.
Because if Trump fails to deliver on his promises, or we get like George Bush 3, it's totally possible that the populism vacuum will be open again. Will the
Imagine having a George Bush Jr. getting elected after Trump. That would be funny.
Democrats take advantage of this and actually put up a good candidate? No. They're gonna put up like Pete Buttigieg or Gavin Newsom, and the populism—
I swear, for some stupid fucking reason, leftists lately have been putting up stupid fucking candidates, you know, like all around the world. They just refuse to come up with better candidates. Same in my country. Like I am hearing this everywhere. Like people from all around the world complain about leftist leaders. They are not charismatic enough. They are not catering to people enough. They are not listening to their people enough. They have something in their head that they have to do. They just keep refusing to listen to their people. Same happened in USA, same happened in my country, same happens in Poland. I have heard same happening in Germany, even in UK. Like people always talk about how the current leftist leader isn't good enough. I always hear
some
about
vacuum will be filled by people like my Twitter mutual and soon to be Vice President of the United States, JD Vance.
I would like to have one of these people as my Twitter mutuals, by the way. It would be amazing to have someone like this following me on Twitter.
That is still so weird. What do I do with this power? Hey, JD, best buddy, I have an idea. It's—
You know what I would DM him if I had the opportunity? I will just DM. That's what I would DM. That would be so funny.
called Patriot Care, and it's healthcare, but our tax dollars go to it instead of bombs. Doesn't that sound cool? If you can't beat 'em, join 'em. The fact is, this election was a complete rejection of the liberal ideology. Or it was just because of inflation and people want to afford eggs again. Yeah, it was probably that. It just kind of sucks to see the—
90% of the time it's inflation. 90% of the time people vote for a party because they cannot afford bread. Like nothing can overthrow or topple a government more than starving masses.
party you voted for your whole life, the party you grew up with, just get worse and worse over time. After this, the Democrats are gonna move right in the dumbest ways. They're gonna become like the new neocons, but gay. And I have no idea how a second Trump term is gonna go. I hope it goes well. I don't know. Congrats to...
Imagine Democrats becoming the party of the white men, but gay, while Republicans becoming the party of like, you know, minorities but straight. That'll be so funny.
RFK, I guess. I'll see you guys in the Adderall labor camps.
labor
Otherwise known as the concentration camps.
What the fuck? What the fuck is a Adderall labor camp? You'll send people taking Adderall to labor camps, bro. People take Adderall to function. And you are looking against it. What the hell?
Get it? Okay. Anyway, so that is enough of my yapping. Now I want to hear you yap. Why do you think Trump won? And what could the Democrats do to win 2028? Anyway,
listen to people.
if you liked this video, please consider subscribing. Also, if you can, donate to me on Patreon, or you could do a little tip with the little tip jar down below somewhere. It helps the channel a lot, and I...
By the way, guys, if you have any opinions, if you have anything to say, please do comment down below. I'm curious to see your opinions. Bye-bye.